Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I'm your host Elijah, and today we are going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing another showcase here, and it won't be of a trick, it's going to be of some projects that I have worked on in the past for commissions and for fun using Microsoft PowerPoint, and specifically today we're going to be showcasing some artwork that was created using Microsoft PowerPoint. Now, the reason why I'm going to be showcasing this artwork is because a lot of people don't quite understand the sheer amount of depth that there is in PowerPoint's artistic capabilities, and I would like to showcase some of the artwork that I have worked on and present it to you guys so that you can get some inspiration on ways that you can use this in your own projects. This also is sort of like a part one to a couple of videos that I'm going to be working on soon. One of which is going to be a video on how you can make vector artwork in PowerPoint, and then another on Photoshop-like capabilities that exist within PowerPoint. So let me show you some examples of some of the artwork that I have created. So while this imports, one thing I want to discuss, which should be the most obvious to you, is that the artwork that you're probably most familiar with is everything on this channel. All of the thumbnails for all of the videos, my logo, the banner, the intro animation, everything has been made using Microsoft PowerPoint, which is probably obvious to you, but regardless, still something that I wanted to make clear. So here's just a small example of all of the many things that I've created in Microsoft PowerPoint over the years. This is by no means not all of it. This is just some of the stuff that is perhaps most notable. So one of them is this one. As you can see, it's a Spicy Uno logo. This is for a revision of Uno that my family and I play. It is incredibly fun and full of backstabbery and skullduggery and a whole bunch of stupidity, and it makes the game much more fun and interesting. So that's one example. You can see how this was created. This is just utilizing some text with a 3D rotation effect and depth effect. And then the rest of it was created with vector artwork. And then you can see that obviously that this chili here was an image that I found online and superimposed. The next one here is an emote that I was tasked with creating for a Transformers related Discord server. I have a couple of those emotes here. And this is of course supposed to be Bumblebee from Transformers Prime. And you can see this is just created with vector artwork. It's very simple. There's nothing too crazy about it. It's just various simple shapes, eyebrows and this center part being the same, eyes the same, and some pretty easy similar things. This actually is a shape layered on top that then uses the inverse shadow effect to make it look like that this shape is on top of it when it's actually not. So there's a couple of ways that you can fudge things to make the eye tricked into what layers are where. So a couple things like that. This is a concept car that I designed. It's loosely going to be the car that I'm going to make for myself one of these days. And I am overall pleased with the way this turned out. It's a very unique shape. You can see it's got lots of swooping lines and curves to it. Once again, nothing too crazy going on here. And this is of course it with a standard background. This was a commission right here. I have a couple of these. I was commissioned to do this a couple of years ago. Let's just start transferring things over here so that we can take a look here. So I was commissioned to do this, and this is based off a real-life character called Thunderblast from Transformers Cybertron. You'll see kind of a recurring theme here. But yeah, this took a decent amount of time to create. This was a lot of tracing over scans of the character and basically overlaying them with vector shapes, and then tweaking and adjusting proportions and things as necessary, using gradients to fiddle-faddle with the character a little bit. I wanted to try and avoid making things too crazy, so I used a lot of the default shading in order to make it a little more interesting, a little more quote-unquote PowerPoint-esque, but there's some small things going on, like with the glowing effect for the torso. That's not really an impressive effect. I could have done that better, to be honest, but it is what it is. Simple things. And you can see I sort of cheated in the end for this second one, and I just utilized some of the scaling features in order to tweak the proportions to make it look like that this is at an angle, and it's just me not wanting to do that. So, not the most flawless of executions, but it was a fun one to work on. This is the one that I'm more proud of, is this one right here. The next one is one that I was tasked with as yet again another commission, and this is of someone's profile picture, their character, if you will, and I wanted to create a commission for them for the holidays. And so there's a couple of options here. You can see one of which is just the normal face, and the other one is them eating a gingerbread cookie. So nothing amazing. The snowflakes, in case you're wondering, are a image that I found online. I did not spend ages making that. I could have, but I was not about to. Nothing too crazy. You can see the eyes are just a gradient with a flat shape on top and then a transparency overlaid to get that shape with the different looks there. And once again, right here, this shape uses inverse shading to trick the eye into thinking it's an underlayer. So yeah, nothing too crazy here. I mean, I'm gonna be saying that a lot. None of these really use any techniques that are too amazing, but that's kind of the point, is you can use a lot of simple techniques. This right here is a concept artwork of a YouTube channel's logo. They did not end up using it, but that was okay. Another concept artwork for a YouTube channel logo. And this right here is the first example of a Photoshop style piece of artwork that I created. This is for a computer that I helped custom build, and it was built into a piano, and we sort of made this joke calling it Bachenstein because it's just such a wacky, crazy project. And so I created this, and then I imposed it as a logo probably about this big and stuck it on the side of the computer. And this right here is a comic that I created. It's not incredibly interesting. There's a couple little inside jokes that were used to create this. This is partially a commission, not necessarily a commission per se, but this is something that I created for someone who kind of had an idea for a comic and wanted me to make one, which is fine. But one of the things that might be most interesting about this particular piece is the fact that there are actually no 3D models presented here. All of these are actually 2D shapes, and what I did is I used the 3D effect to bump them out and make them appear three-dimensional. And this is before I really had a lot of experience with 3D models, so this was sort of a trick I used to approximate that. And this is definitely something that I could probably make a tutorial on in the future. And then we have a couple examples of some smaller pieces of artwork. Most notably a couple of logos for some groups that I was helping. A Macintosh Plus for a YouTube channel. A joke Uno card is an emote. Here's another emote. This one's of Megatron from Transformers Prime. And a logo. And then here's another example of a Photoshop-like artwork. This is just of a concept car. And then here is a before and after of modifying a Porsche into a alternative vehicle, like a Tesla, for instance, in this case. And apart from a couple of obvious areas, chief among them being this roof piece that I basically had to take, this I think, pretty convincing, especially considering that the headlights are basically completely deleted. And yes, this was done using PowerPoint and not Photoshop. And I could walk you through this to an extent. This would definitely not fall under the category of a quick tutorial. It would be more of a showcase, and it would take a little bit of time to walk over all of the various techniques that were used to achieve this. But this is a great example of what you can do in PowerPoint and just how close to Photoshop you can get. Here's another example of a piece of artwork that I did. This is just me trying to experiment with humanoid characters. I really struggle to do humanoid characters. That's not a PowerPoint limitation, that's a me limitation. So this was an example of me trying to branch out and get better at that. And another example of the car that I was working on. And then we have a couple additional examples. So some various pieces of artwork that I worked on over the years. Once again, another joke Uno card is an emote. This was just a random example of me trying to work with default shapes without adjusting them at all, which is something that I did when I was a kid. This is an example of pixel art that was made in PowerPoint, nothing too special here. A couple of Windows logos that I use for my computer projects. And once again, finally, another logo. So I know this video's been a little bit different, but I just wanted to showcase a bit of a quick, perhaps inspirative video to give some people some ideas of the graphical capabilities that PowerPoint has at its disposal for artistic pursuits. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and until next time, goodbye.